Hello nippies, and if you're not a nippy, welcome to my channel. If you're a nippy, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on this postcard here, which is a Patreon postcard. I do these monthly for the Patreons that hold this tier, which I think is a maximum of 5. I usually only have 1, but for the month of November I have 2. I already did the other one that goes together with this set, which is this one. I'll put that video in the upper right hand corner so you guys can check it out if you want. These two are my original characters, Saskia and Pim, from my comic OFFcell, which you can read for free over on offccellcomic.com, Tapastic, or Webtoons. It is 18+, be careful. And yeah, so this is what we're going to be doing for today. We're going to go through the materials that I used shortly after this. If you don't want to see that, go ahead and skip to this little timestamp here, and then you can jump right into the speed paint. And of course, a special shout out to everyone on Patreon. Thank you so much for making a lot of my art and comic happen. I really do appreciate it, and for funding these beautiful postcards. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to GB and to Snark for holding this tier for November. So thank you guys so much, and let's just jump right into it. Alright guys, here we are with our materials list. So we're going to do it a little bit different than we did last time. I'm actually just going to go over the items very quickly. I do have these listed in my Amazon shop down below in the description if you want to purchase these yourself. I mostly get my supplies over on Amazon. If the item is not on my Amazon shop, it's either because I can't find, oops, oh that's paint. Do I have paint? I have tape. I have tape in my nail. It's either because I cannot find it on Amazon anymore, or because it's a very specific gift, or it's just not on there. So we're gonna go very quickly in order, usually on how I use them. So I use my Casimir. I use my Casimir pencil to sketch, usually very thick lines. Really like it to begin. Then I'll go in with my Graph Gear 1000 Pentels 0.7 to do the under sketch with my Pilot colored lead. Then I have my 0.5. I usually do 0.3, but this time I used 0.5 because I couldn't find my other one. Then I have my 005 micron in black, and then we used the microns in 05 in some other colors, blues and greens, etc. for other parts of the drawing. Then we colored some with my Tombow sketch markers, my Faber-Castell Pitt markers, artist pens, then Copic sketch markers as well. I went ahead and I used this Trio color. This is a foreign color pencil that I was a gift from my mom. Then we have our highlights, where the charcoal white pencil over here. We have our Arteza gouache, and then we have as our eraser our mono tiny eraser here, our Faber-Castell kneaded eraser here, and then we have our tape, our washi tape here. We have our X-Acto knife to cut the washi tape, our fan brush to wipe away the eraser excess. We have our parchment paper here, which was then cutted with this Kadomaru corner cutter. So these are the materials for today, and then we used a light box as well, and those are the materials for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and on to the speed paint. Okay guys, so we're going in with the parchment paper for these postcards. So I did the Pim one a while ago, then I saved this one for off stream, so I feel like this one is gonna have much better quality. And I was a little bit worried. I wasn't as happy with the sketch on this one as I was on the Pim one, to be quite honest. I was a little bit scared about the elements I was gonna put from the tape into the drawing, just because the ones that I used for Pim were just much more clear. This one was more, the leaves aren't as clear, like the style is not as obvious, I think is what I'm trying to say. The style is not as obvious as the tape in the back of Pim. It's just, you know, green outline for the leaves and then one red solid chunk for the fruit. I I was definitely worried. There wasn't a lot of space to begin with for the background, so I didn't know how much of the tape was going to show anyway, and you'll see later that I actually struggled with getting certain parts of the tape to show just so that the elements in the front made sense. So what I decided to do was go in with like the little red parts of the tape, make them kind of these fuzzy cherry looking things, and then I put some of the light green kind of wood elements in her hair, transferred it over with the light box, of course, and I was more happy with the colored lead iteration of the sketch. It felt a little bit more flowy for sure. And now going into the actual pencil, where I didn't know there was going to be as big a problem as there was later, which you guys will see, I guess, after. I was really struggling on getting the symmetry to go well here. I didn't know what expression exactly I wanted for her. I feel like I always do very similar expressions for her, and it was kind of stressing me out. Eventually I changed it again because I don't really like the worried thing that she's got going on here. I do like, however, how the composition ended up turning out. I was kind of worried about how much colored lines I was gonna put, because for the Pim one I had like the green lines for the leaves and that was pretty much it. But for this one, because I had so many different elements and the tape itself has its fair share of elements, I had to kind of pull out more colors. I was really scared it was gonna be very, very tacky, and I decide to stop thinking about it so much. I just go in with the colors and I try to go with my gut, go with my instinct, because it was getting to a point that it was just crippling me and I just did not want to continue. So I decided to not even think about it and just keep going. I start really liking the lines, I start liking the feel, and I start really seeing it in my head. I think a lot of the times when I do pieces, if I don't see it in my head at some point very, very early in the piece, it becomes extremely difficult for me to continue, and I sometimes don't even finish the piece because a vision to me is almost essential when I'm working on stuff, and forcing myself to finish a drawing is very, very difficult, and I often end up with a piece that I'm either not proud of or just does not feel finished at all. And so I was very happy that as I started continuing, I felt like the vision was just very clear in my head. So here we are doing the hair, doing all the little thin lines, which I realized later was going to be a huge regret. I guess not regret, but I didn't really, and you'd think that with all my experience with the tape, and especially putting it on the last one, that I'd think more about doing little strands of hair where I know I'm going to have to cut the tape. So that later was a hassle for sure. Closing in on finishing the line art now, and I'm really happy with how her hair came out. I feel like a lot of the times I struggle with making hair feel like it's like, I don't know if voluminous, like the hair has any volume. I feel like I struggle with that, which is probably why I draw so much straight hair and stringy hair and all that stuff. But I was kind of happy with this one, not gonna lie. So setting up for the tape, I start to realize that the little red parts are not going to show everywhere. So I have to find a way to stack the leaves and the green part and the reds so that it shows, so that the picture makes sense. And then now going into the tape, struggling with cutting really thin parts. And it was extremely tedious, I'm not gonna lie, but it was so worth it. I feel like all the little details sticking out of the tape was just, I feel like it's all worth it. Once you pull the tape out, it's, all the time you spent cutting the little details is just so cathartic. Here I am just making sure that it's being cut properly, checking, and then going on to do the other side. Normally, I like to cut outside of the lines just so that, of course, I can retain the black from my line art. So here I kind of left a little too much space, especially since the lines were so thin, but I always account for relining thicker after I'm done with the tape. So normally you guys will see me add some volume to the lines, but if I know it's going to be a tape postcard, most of the time I'll just wait for the tape, because there's just no sense in me making thick lines, accidentally covering it with the tape, and then having to do it again. So yeah. So I cut outside the lines. I'm almost done. I really like that I have a blue equivalent to the red tape that I was using for Pim's postcard, which was completely accidental, coincidental I mean, and I just really like how it makes them look like a set. And here it is finally without the, ooh, look at that, without the light box, all ready to complete the lines. Now, I don't want to spoil it because I'm wondering if you guys can see it, and I kind of want to say it once we get there, but I don't know. There's something wrong. Okay, maybe I'll tell you so you can guess, but there's something wrong in this drawing, very wrong in this drawing, and I don't know if notice is the right word, but I don't fix it all the way until the postcard is done. And let me tell you guys, when I say I thought it was done, I thought it was done. I scanned it, I filmed the B-roll, I filmed the intro. Guys, I filmed everything. I was ready to send it to my editor, and I scanned it, edited the picture, and then when I flipped it in Photoshop, guys, oh my God, I nearly had a heart attack because I finished this postcard at like 3 in the morning, and the thought of having to go back and fix it was debilitating. So I decided that I just had to. There's no way that I could sleep at night knowing that it was going to just look that terrible. So I used some of the Tombows, some of the colors, tried to match the tape in the back. Of course, I tried to use a more saturated version of the color, just like I did with the Pim one, so that way it really stood out, and it looked like the tape, but it didn't blend in with the tape. Here using my Arteza gouache, which I've been using a lot lately, honestly, as a highlight. You guys know that some of my favorite traditional art tools are my whites. So I'll have my Faber-Castell white marker, I have my charcoal pencil, I have my jelly roll, but guys, for some reason lately, instead of on toned paper, instead of using the Faber-Castell marker, which is what I typically do, I've just been going straight to gouache, and the white is just so much more intense, and I have much more control because, as you guys know, the tip on the Faber-Castell is absolutely way too thick, and trying to get into really thin areas is a hassle. And so being able to use gouache and just use the appropriate marker, the appropriate brush is much, much easier. The texture is just so much more smooth. It doesn't distort the paper. It's more consistent. I just have been defaulting to gouache. Here I am outlining the black to match the other postcard, and I don't know, there's something really, I don't know if cathartic is the right word, but very, very pleasing to me about making sets of cards of like art pieces. I just love like when you can tell that they belong together. I think that's one of my guilty pleasures. And here I am comparing it. I already knew it was coming up too, because like as soon as I did that black border, I already knew. I was like, oh, they look like they match. So I don't know, there's just something really, really satisfying about seeing two separate pieces of work and know that they kind of belong together aesthetically. Here I am just making it match the other one and trying to just really close out the postcard. And I don't know how much, I think I'm pretty much done at this point before I realize what is wrong with it. Oh no. Oh, here I am. So here it is. So it's the eye. Ding, ding, ding. The eye was completely just not okay. It was super asymmetrical and I was so scared. I was like, guys, I cannot believe that I have to repaint this whole eye. I was like, this is gonna be a complete gamble. I had no idea if it was gonna come out symmetrical at all, if I was just gonna ruin the whole postcard. But I was like, there's no way I can send it to the Patreon who holds this tier and live and sleep in peace if I just send it looking like that. I feel like it definitely looks much better. I don't know that I would say it's perfect or anything by any means, but oh my lord, I feel like it's much, much better. Let me know down in the comments if you guys saw that as you were watching it, or if you only noticed after I pointed it out. Let me know. I'm actually pretty curious. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this process. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And if you guys want to watch the speed paint for the other one, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the card for that in the upper right hand corner. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed that video. If you haven't already, like the video if you liked it, subscribe, join the Nippy family, and yeah, leave a comment down below with whatever you thought. Go ahead, check out the comic, let me know what you think. Follow me and the comic as well over on Twitter and Instagram. Hopefully you enjoyed, and see you guys next video.